inside Wembley Stadium, everyone. Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. 9 minutes played, and so far, Leon Osman, Sheffield United have had the best chance of the match.
Yeah, absolutely. They both settled into the game pretty well. Manchester City very comfortable in possession, as we've come to expect, but Sheffield United looked quite comfortable at the moment. They're back 5-3 in front. They've gone with 2 right up top, and when they get the ball, they're direct up to Jebinson as quick as possible, and Jai's getting in and around him quite quickly, and they've had the best 2 chances of the game. Well, certainly the best chance of the game, so both managers will be quite comfortable with how the game started.
Yeah, in the first seconds, really, Sheffield United won a corner. It was played in by Norwood. Egan near the penalty spot headed it across the box, and then Jai took a touch but then shot straight at the Manchester City goalkeeper Ortega. So still Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0, and the Championship side have got through the first 10 minutes. Now the full-time whistles, of course, are going in the 3 o'clock kickoff. So to Anfield, Conor McNamara.
Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 2. It was 0-0 at half-time, 5 goals in the second period. Forest twice came from behind to level the score, but on each occasion Liverpool found another. 2 more goals from Diogo Jota. Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 2.
Manchester City on the attack here as they play from left to right in the first half, in the sky blue shirts, white shorts and blue socks against Sheffield United in their first choice colours, the Blades in the red and white stripes with the black shorts and the black socks. Manchester City have settled into considerable periods of possession. As we say, Sheffield United had that big chance through Njai, the Senegal World Cup player, and he was also set away through the inside right position as well and wasn't able to get the shot in. But here is Gundogan just shuffling with the ball just outside the penalty area, out to the left-hand side. Grealish is there, back it comes centrally to Gundogan. Now here's Sergio Gomez. I'll run you through the teams when we get a chance. Manchester City, 6 changes from midweek. Grealish, back to Sergio Gomez. Left-footed ball in is headed away wide of the near post by Ahmed Hodzic for a corner to Manchester City. Full-time in the Championship, Birmingham City, Blackpool, Pat Murphy.
Blackpool needed to win, and they've done so courtesy of a gift from the Birmingham keeper Etheridge, setting up the substitute Pavado 15 minutes from time. They're still alive and kicking. Birmingham 0, Blackpool 1.
And Brentford in form Aston Villa, or they were, Katie Smith.
Villa 1, so their winning run over Villa. Douglas Luiz, late equaliser, ruled out Tony's opener. Is a point enough though for Villa in the hunt for European football? They were second best for much of this, and World Cup winning keeper Emi Martinez subbed off at half-time too, so we hope all okay with him. Ends here 1-1.
Haaland in for the header for Manchester City, but Jack Robinson went with him and got enough on that. But it was John Egan who went with him, got enough on that to deflect it up and over for a second consecutive Manchester City corner. Here it is from the left-hand side, which is well defended at the near post. I think Akanji got a bang on the head there and he's gone down holding his head, so we'll have a stoppage here with the score Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. So that gives us a chance to head to Plymouth for the full-time score. John Akers.
Plymouth have won it, they stay top, they need 5 points now from the remaining 3 matches. They were just too good for Cambridge, who have dropped a place in the bottom 4. Wright, Edwards and Ennis with the goals. Plymouth 3, Cambridge 1.
So Plymouth have won. What about Ipswich at Peterborough? Aaron Paul.
Peterborough 0, Ipswich 3, machine-like again from Ipswich. Goals from Burns, Chaplin and Ladapo sealed the points. Town now 16 unbeaten, but still in second. Peterborough 0, Ipswich 3.
Sheffield Wednesday were winning last time we heard against Exeter, having come from a goal down. Akanji's okay, he's back on his feet. And back into the Championship we go to Wigan Millwall. Shojo Saka.
It's finished Wigan 2, Millwall 1. It is a deserved victory for Wigan Athletic. They stave off relegation for now. Substitute Tilo Asgard with a late winner. Wigan are still bottom, but 4 points off safety with 2 games to play. Millwall's playoff hopes take another dent. It's only 1 win in 7 for them. Wigan 2, Millwall 1.
Yes, Wigan giving it a very late goal. 0-0 here. Manchester City in possession. So Haaland is playing the team. The Manchester City team is Ortega, Walker, Akanji, Laporte and Gomez, Mahrez, Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, who's playing in the Rodri role, Grealish on the left, Alvarez and Haaland. And Manchester City with the ball in the central third. And in fact, Bernardo Silva is well challenged by Max Lowe, but the ball bounces forward to Alvarez near the edge of the penalty area, but Egan comes across, the Sheffield United captain, and chips it out of play on the far side. So does Celtic Motherwell. Roddy Forsyth.
Celtic won, Motherwell won, and it looked all one-sided in the first half, although Celtic only had Callum McGregor to goal to show for that, a big deflection off Callum Butcher. 10 minutes into the second half, Kevin Van Veen ran the length of the Celtic half, holding off Starfelt, put the ball into the net to make it one each, and Motherwell become the first side to take points from Celtic at their own ground this season.
Erling Haaland smashes the ball in from best part of 30 yards, but play had stopped. Free kick had already been given Sheffield United's way, so it remains 0-0. I can tell you Leyton Orient are League 2 champions after winning 2-0 against Crewe, so congratulations to Leyton Orient, who've had an excellent season. And is it curtains for Rochdale in League 2? Adam Cottier.
It is. Rochdale relegated after 102 years as a Football League club. Will be playing in the National League next season. They had to win today. They lose 1-0. Isaac Olafe's goal for Stockport. Stockport 1, relegated Rochdale 0.
So free kick then for Sheffield United. I think everyone inside Wembley Stadium, Leon, knew that when Haaland cracked it in from there, that it would not be allowed as a goal. However, it was absolutely deadly, wasn't it?
Well, he was quick to blow his whistle, the referee. But the strike from Erling Haaland was incredible. It just glided across the surface from all of 30-35 yards. Keeper would have had no chance.
However, here comes Sheffield United with the ball clipped across with Jebison waiting in the middle. That's a 19-year-old Daniel Jebison who is starting instead of Ollie McBurney. And now a chance for Sheffield United with Jack Robinson up joining the attack from central defence. He got a shot on his right foot, the former Liverpool youngster, but dragged it. I think it was going wide, but Ortega went down to save it in any case.
Yeah, comfortable save for the goalkeeper. Wasn't the crispest of strikes, but Sheffield United have certainly come here to have a go, and they won't be coming away from Wembley without trying to test Ortega in that goal. They've already done it very early in the game. He had to make a very good save from Njai. Robinson backing up, but when Sheffield United go forward, they're going forward in numbers. They're getting players into Manchester City's penalty area and asking the goalkeeper questions.
Full-time whistles have now all gone in the 3 o'clock kickoffs in the Premier League. If you've just got back into your car, earlier finished Fulham 2, Leeds 1. In our commentary match, Leicester beat Wolves by 2-1, having been a goal down. Brentford 1, Aston Villa 1, Crystal Palace 0, Everton 0, and Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 2. In the Championship, Coventry Reading is over. Chris Coles.
It is, and a significant win for Coventry, back in the playoff places after a 2-1 win. Gustavo Hamer's winner came just moments after Reading had equalised, a damaging few minutes for them, and it's another costly defeat. They remain in the bottom 3, Coventry 2, Reading 1.
Just past 5 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. The first of this season's Emirates FA Cup semi-finals kicking off at 4:45. So we've already had over a quarter of an hour and it's still goalless. This is the Premier League versus Championship match, and the ball swirled into the penalty area for it was actually well cleared by Robinson, who got to it ahead of Riyad Mahrez. Manchester City winning back, but a free kick is given centre field. Free kick for Sheffield United for a foul on Oliver Norwood. And to Burnley, QPR. Has it been the turn-up, John Bennett?
A massive shock, John. Burnley 1, QPR 2. QPR, big step towards Championship survival. Burnley's wait to secure the title goes on. A thrilling second half. The winner with 3 minutes to go. The sub Chris Martin heading in. Burnley's first home defeat of the season. Burnley 1, QPR 2.
So Burnley will have to wait to be confirmed as champions. Wait a little longer. Sheffield United, you would think, would join them in automatic promotion to the Premier League this season. Might well be confirmed in the next few days with the matches that are coming up in the next coming midweek. But at the moment, they've got their focus on an FA Cup semi-final here, and it's still 0-0. I can tell you that Stirling Albion have been promoted from League 2 in Scotland as champions after their 3-1 win over Annan. And the ball is with Wes Fodringer, who's come back into the Sheffield United side after missing the last 2 matches through suspension. Long clearance from him downfield. Sheffield United headed forward, but Gundogan's underneath that. It bounces down centrally and we'll head to Andy Sexsmith watching Hartlepool United and Crawley.
Salford at the double for Crawley. His first stooping heading in the first half. 2-0. It's finished to Crawley, who need only a point now to guarantee a 13th season in League Two, but Pool's on the brink of exiting the EFL. Hartlepool 0, Crawley 2.
Yeah, it's a crucial match at the bottom end of League Two. Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. I will run you through all of the scores when all of the full-time whistles have gone, just to run through the Championship and the other scores. But it is full-time at Charlton Morecambe. Mike Williams.
For only the second time this season, Morecambe have won back-to-back matches in League One. A priceless away win here has put them within touching distance of safety. They're now only in the relegation zone on goal difference. 2 goals from Cole Stockton helped give them victory. Their 2-year stay in the third tier not over yet. Charlton 2, Morecambe 3.
Sheffield United playing the ball forward for Njai, but importantly, Gundogan was able to step across and prevent it from reaching him. But then Njai comes again, roared on by these thousands and thousands of Sheffield United supporters, who, I must say, in the sunshine here at Wembley, have been highly optimistic about the afternoon's events. I think it's that, can't lose feeling that everyone's expecting Manchester City to win this, and so they're set on having an enjoyable afternoon, whatever happens. Grealish back to Sergio Gomez, who pulls the ball back onto his left foot and then uses Gundogan centrally, who will go back to Laporte nearer the halfway line, who passes it forward to Gomez. Gomez now then back to Laporte again. Full-time whistle has gone at Hillsborough. Adam Whitty.
Full-time Sheffield Wednesday 2, extra 1. Wednesday keep up with Plymouth and Ipswich with a comeback win that's vital for their promotion push. They were seemingly on the cusp of blowing it, but goals from Gregory and Patterson see them squeak home. Full-time Sheffield Wednesday 2, extra 1.
Ball played through to Alvarez, right side of the penalty area, but Egan did well. The United captain came across. He tried a couple of times to think about getting his shot in, but allowed the ball to run, and Egan was able to clear Leon Osman.
Yeah, came over and filled the space that Robinson had just vacated momentarily in watching what Riyad Mahrez was doing. That's when Manchester City have nearly got Alvarez in on 1 or 2 occasions. When he plays right up front with Haaland against the back 3 of Sheffield United, they can see the 2 City strikers, and I'm not saying they're comfortable, but they can see everything in front of them. When Alvarez drops deep and then makes that burst afterwards, he's finding spaces.
Still 0-0. Mahrez though gets the ball down on the right hand side, plays it to Gundogan, edge of the penalty area. He turns the full 360 degrees. Now it's out to Walker on the right hand side, puts his foot on it twice and then crosses into the back of Lowe, but it bounces to Mahrez. Left foot shot, curls wide. I thought that took a deflection on the edge of the box, but it's on the blind side of Stuart Atwell, the referee. He hasn't seen it, if I was right, and it's a goal kick.
Well, Riyad Mahrez certainly thought it took a deflection. His reaction would tell you it must have done. Just about to see the replay again, but he brought it under control really well. Yeah, I think it got just a touch from Fleck on its way through. Made sure that Foderingham didn't have to make a save despite the dive that he made for also his right-hand side. But Manchester City, that's probably their first real effort on target. They've had at goal, they've had a number of passes, a lot of possession. But Sheffield United have defended the edge of the penalty area quite well up to this point.
It's encouraging for Sheffield United so far. I don't want to speak too soon for any Blades fans who are listening to 5 Live, or indeed around the world on the World Service, as Gundogan is able to carry the ball from the edge of his own penalty area. Now he's over the halfway line, gives it to the left-hand side. Alvarez is there, very mobile role for the Argentine World Cup winner. Here's Grealish. Grealish then back to Alvarez, right foot curling shot, Foderingham to his left, gets a hand to it. Haaland was there as well, but it was closer to the goalkeeper, and leaping away, he got his left hand to it to push it wide and behind. Corner.
Yeah, really good effort. You just mentioned how he's roaming about the pitch, Alvarez, and mentioned when he's dropping away from Erling Haaland, when the centre-halves don't know where he's popping up into those spaces, he's looked really dangerous in the opening section of this game. Really is one of the players that Manchester City will want to just keep feeding the ball to.
That's the closest thing that Manchester City have had so far. The first proper save, really, from Foderingham, the 32-year-old former Fulham, Crystal Palace, Rangers goalkeeper. Alvarez with the corner, the out swinger, which is over Laporte, and bounces out of the penalty area to Grealish, who is being forced back by Njai to the halfway line and kicked over, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United, 10 yards inside the United half. So it's a busy afternoon at the moment. It feels like there's all sorts going on, Leon. with the full-time whistles going. I'll run you through the championship scores, but let's just keep an eye on what's happening out on the pitch as well. So in the championship, the 3 o'clock full-time scores: Birmingham City 0, Blackpool 1, Bristol City 2, Rotherham 1, Burnley 1, QPR 2. What a turn-up that is. Gareth Ainsworth, only his second win as the QPR manager. Cardiff 1, Stoke 1 it finished. Coventry 2, Reading 1, Hull City 1, Watford 0, Norwich City 0, Swansea City 3, as Manchester City have the ball on the left-hand side. Wigan 2, Millwall 1, Wigan winning again. Ball from Gundogan over the top, just kept in, a backheel flick on the goal, on the dead ball line from Mahrez to Bernardo Silva, and then Bernardo Silva trying to give it back to Mahrez, who ran past it, and then Bernardo Silva is fouled by Robinson. Free kick to Manchester City in the full-back position. And also Preston Blackburn will kick off in around about 20 minutes time, so we'll keep you updated on that over the course of the next couple of hours as well. So free kick, Leon, to Manchester City on the right.
Yeah, a bit of class from Bernardo Silva. He's just one of those players that is in such control of the ball. Even a nearly misplaced pass there, trying to pick out Riyad Mahrez. It reacts so quickly to Robinson. Just got sucked in, thought he could win the ball. Bernardo Silva was having none of it. It's a free kick in a dangerous area for Manchester City.
Yes, it is. This is where Sheffield United have got to stand up. Mahrez, hands on his hips, standing a couple of yards in from the touchline, just down to our right. Mahrez plays it in left-footed, didn't beat the first defender, who got his head to it. It was Norwood, flicked away high over the far top corner, so it will be another corner to Manchester City. Norwood came into the team for Doyle today, so Tommy Doyle and James McAtee are sitting down there. They're with the travelling Sheffield United party, and they're having to sit in the stands and watch their current team against their parent club because of the loan rules. Corner for Sheffield United. It's a high one, this, from Mahrez over the almost everyone, apart from Fleck, who stretches and heads it away. Alvarez now in back to the edge of the penalty area. Laporte, Alvarez again, bounces, doesn't bounce for Bernardo Silva, and Lowe plays it off the Portuguese and out of play for a goal kick. Bernardo Silva did his very best there to try and persuade Lee Betts, the assistant, that the final touch was back off Lowe, but the assistant says it's a goal kick. So the full-time scores in League One. Barnsley 2-0 winners against Oxford United. Bolton 1, Shrewsbury 0. Charlton 2, Morecambe 3. Cheltenham 3, Forest Green 1. Derby 1, Burton 0. Fleetwood 1, MK Dons 0. Peterborough 0, Ipswich 3. Plymouth 3, Cambridge United 1. Port Vale 2, Bristol Rovers 0. Portsmouth 1, Accrington 0. And Sheffield Wednesday 2, Exeter 1. And also Wickham 0, Lincoln 2. Manchester City with the ball on the right-hand side with Walker, Kyle Walker, against his boyhood club, plays it in. Bernardo Silva's ball in, and it comes off the head of John Fleck, and that wasn't too far wide of Fotheringham's left post. Manchester City now dominating it. Corner again.
Yeah, good break by Manchester City. Sheffield United won't want to be caught and exposed in that way too often against this exhilarating Manchester City attack. And John Fleck just looked agonisingly back over his shoulder there. For a moment he thought it had deflected off his head into his own goal.
I think this is corner number 6, still 0-0. Alvarez plays it in, Fotheringham comes, didn't make it, but it gets a deflection and bounces out to the edge of the box, where Jefferson was able to turn it away out for a throw on the far side. The Sheffield United team, Fotheringham in goal, as I say, having been suspended for the last couple of matches after his second red card of the season. Then Ahmed Hodzic, who was a doubt for this game, Leon, because his first child is imminent, about to be born, but clearly it hasn't happened yet, and he's here playing in an FA Cup semi-final, the Bosnia-Herzegovina International. So Ahmed Hodzic, Egan and Robinson, the 3 central defenders. Baldock on the right, Lowe on the left, then Berger, Norwood and Fleck, with Jefferson and Jai as the forward players. So McBurney on the bench, and 19-year-old Daniel Jefferson, the Canadian-born England under-20 international, playing here against Manchester City. And it is Baldock on the right-hand side who plays it forward. The ball is inside the Manchester City half, and then Gomez is piled into by Baldock, and that's a free kick to Manchester City, 5 yards inside their own half.
Yeah, free kick to Manchester City, but it raised a few eyebrows, didn't it, when we saw that Jefferson was playing and McBurney was on the bench. But he started this game well, Jebison. He's getting up against the two centre-halves of Manchester City. He's trying to use his strength and his physicality. They're playing long diagonals to him, trying to get Njai as close to him as possible, and he showed a little bit of pace in behind, so it's been a good start for the young man.
That's Leon Osman with us, Everton and England midfielder. Things a bit tight for Everton again, Leon. Dropping into the bottom three again today.
Yeah, I'd rather not talk about it, to be honest, John.
Okay,
but
we'll leave that.
A good point.
We'll move swiftly.
A good point.
Point away from home. 0-0 at Crystal Palace. Manchester City 0, Sheffield United 0. You'll have commentary as well tomorrow on Manchester United against Brighton. That's a slightly later kick-off tomorrow, 4:30. So you'll hear that in full here on 5 Live. And then earlier, 2 Premier League commentaries: Newcastle Tottenham on 5 Live and Bournemouth West Ham on Sports Extra. And the Brighton-Manchester United game is also on the World Service tomorrow, like this one, 0-0. And I know I haven't run through the League 2 final scores yet, so I'll do that when I get a chance. But here's Bernardo Silva, halfway inside the Sheffield United half. Still Bernardo Silva, moving it from foot to foot, then coming in, left foot, and that's a weak shot from him, which was like a back pass from 25 yards. So the League 2 final scores: Wimbledon 1, Swindon Town 5, Barrow 0, Carlisle 1, Bradford 2, Gillingham 2, Colchester 4, Sutton United 1, Doncaster 1, Newport County 3, Hartlepool United 0, Crawley 2, Leyton Orient 2, Crewe 0, Leyton Orient confirmed as champions, Mansfield 1, Stevenage 0, Northampton 3, Harrogate Town 1, Stockport County 1, Rochdale 0, Rochdale relegated, Tranmere 2, Grimsby 0, and Walsall 2, Salford City 3, as goalkeeper Ortega passes the ball out from the back, and Kyle Walker is upended by John Fleck. In the National League, incidentally, it finished Maidstone 2, Notts County 5. So that means if Wrexham win later in the 6:30 kickoff against Boreham Wood, Wrexham will be promoted back into the Football League. Here's Mahrez on the right-hand side. We'll keep you updated with that. Mahrez, backheel flick, Walker in space, drives it across and hits the first defender. Clattered it straight into Robinson's legs, bounces behind, corner number 7 for Manchester City.
Oh, he had so long to pick his man in the centre of the penalty area there, Kyle Walker. City opened up Sheffield United brilliantly. It's the first time they've really got space inside that penalty area. He probably should have done better with his cross.
Manchester City take the short corner this time. Mahrez, still 0-0 by the way. Half an hour gone. Paul Heckingbottom's side have held Manchester City level for the first 30 minutes. Not sure too many expected that. He said, no one on the planet expects us to win this game. Now the ball to the left-hand side for Manchester City, and it's turned across by Akanji, blocked behind by Bulldog, so it's another corner. I think that is 8. I think I might be losing count, Leon.
No, there's no doubt the pressure is building from Manchester City. They keep possession of the ball, they're pushing Sheffield United further and further back towards their own goal, but as yet just one save Hodringham's had to make from the edge of the penalty area. They are defending their penalty area pretty well at the moment.
Corner then, this one from the left flank. We've got shards of sunlight across the Wembley pitch. Here it is, Mahrez playing it in. Haaland with a header, but he headed it across the box straight to opponent Jefferson, who swung one of his lanky left leg, not one of his left legs. He cleared it away to the halfway line, and Manchester City are back in possession again with Kyle Walker. I'm sure he'll have wanted to start this game, Kyle Walker. Not been the regular starter recently, has he? But against Sheffield United, being a Sheffield lad, he'll have wanted to play in this.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you always want to play in the big games, but semi-final against your former club, a really good moment for Kyle Walker, but he's been left out of the Manchester City side. Pep saying that doesn't quite fit into the new style and system he wants to play, and I've seen that in the opening 30 minutes.
Yes, Haaland doing well, just forward of the centre circle, gives it to Grealish. On the left-hand side, Gomez into the challenge, but Berger, there's more than one Norwegian involved in this game, and Berger plays it up towards Jefferson, and then Jefferson to Njai, and Manchester City could be stretched here, and Njai takes it, cuts in field, and then in comes the covering challenge from Mahrez, and Njai finally is dispossessed by Mahrez near the edge of the penalty area.
Oh, it was brave from Sheffield United. They're trying their best to leave 2 right up top. They've won the ball, they fed it forward quite quickly. And it was Jefferson to Njai, and he just picked his head up, was ready to run at the Manchester City defence into the penalty area. Saw it was Kyle Walker and decided to try and come inside, and he ran into players recovering. Riyad Mahrez got back to help out, but good break again from Sheffield United. They're trying their best to really compete here.
And Pep Guardiola there showing real concern. First time we've seen him, he was out off his seat, round in between the advertising hoardings, out into the coaching area, waving his arms. And then there's a poor misplaced pass by Manchester City from Gundogan, which was beyond Mahrez, and bounces out for a goal kick, and cheers of derision from the Sheffield United fans, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, they'll be enjoying this, the Sheffield United fans. The team are giving them their all. They're certainly working hard. We've just seen, as you said, that reaction from Pep Guardiola, the frustration. He won't want to see his team exposed on the counter-attack. He won't want to see Sheffield United getting too many opportunities by Manchester City, giving the ball away, being a little bit sloppy in the middle of the pitch, because they've defended this open half now really well, Sheffield United, and if you give them a goal, you give them something to really cling on to, it becomes even more difficult for Manchester City.
And Manchester City now set off again. Manchester City on this 15-match unbeaten run, having been to Munich and back in midweek, of course. Although Sheffield United did have a game also in midweek, their win against Bristol City on Tuesday night. Here's Gundogan. Not sure I expected him to start this match, but here he is, the captain, out to the right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva back to the edge of the box. Mahrez controls it, but thought about the shot, but instead plays it square. Sergio Gomez now coming in at left back. Here's Grealish into the penalty area, still going towards the byline, but Baldock went with him. However, Grealish then back to Sergio Gomez, a touch, then across, but Sheffield United had a man either side of Erling Haaland there, two of the central defenders, and the ball didn't reach him, and it was headed away by John Egan, the star man, the experienced figure. John Egan, 30 years old, the Republic of Ireland international, the middleman of the back three. He's already caught the eye for his defending in this match.
Yeah, they can afford to do that, Sheffield United. They've got the three central defenders up against the two Manchester City strikers, so you play zonal until you get into your penalty area, and then once you're in there, one of them takes Alvarez, two of them can take Erling Haaland, gets tight as possible. Doesn't stop him from getting opportunities. We've seen how good he is, but making it as difficult as possible.
Manchester City again parked inside Sheffield United territory. Then is square, Sergio Gomez. He's square towards Gundogan, now to the edge of the penalty area. Bernardo Silva, it's very tight. Then on the edge of the box, Sergio Gomez trying to find a way through inside the penalty area. It runs free. It was actually Alvarez who was wriggling into the box, but it bounced away for Egan to clear, which he did, just whacked it away to the halfway line, and it's still 0-0. But we've played 36 minutes now, and still we await the first goal of these Emirates FA Cup semi-finals. The final scores in the Premiership in Scotland: Hearts were 6-1 winners against Ross County. Finished Celtic 1, Motherwell 1, as we heard from Roddy Forsyth. Dundee United 2-0 winners against Livingston. St Johnstone 1, Hibernian 1, and St Mirren 0, Kilmarnock 2. If you didn't hear much earlier, in the first of the semi-finals in the Women's Champions League, it finished Chelsea 0, Barcelona 1. Wolfsburg Arsenal will have coverage of that tomorrow afternoon, along with everything else. Here is Mahrez on the right-hand side. Mahrez going one way and the other, then into the edge of the box. Grealish touches it back to Gundogan, who's 25 yards out. Again, he goes from one side to the other, plays it to Gomez. Grealish, early ball this time, deflected, but loops into the arms of the bearded Sheffield United goalkeeper Wes Foderingham, and more cheers from the Sheffield United fans behind that goal.
Yeah, again, denying Manchester City the opportunity to get a good effort on target or slip a through pass into the penalty area for one of the strikers to really create that opening. The defending ever so bravely, prepared to go 1v1 at times, making sure they're all within good distances of each other, Sheffield United defensively, and there are one or two opportunities if they can make that first pass on the counter-attack.
Sheffield United playing it forward, but Gomez is there in the left-back position to clear it away. Berger's got it on the right. Berger's cross, and Kanji was in two minds there just for a split second, but changed his mind and half-volleyed it away. And then Max Lowe is able to play it back towards Robinson, and then all the way back towards Egan, who passes it forward out towards the right-hand side. Berger was struggling to keep that in there, chested it down, but as a result gave it away, and Manchester City are back in possession again. So after the early results in the Premier League, now in the bottom three, Southampton bottom, with 24 points after their draw last night. Nottingham Forest with 27 points. Everton into the bottom 3 with 28. Manchester City play it into the penalty area, and Bernardo Silva wins a throw-in after Robinson got there first and put it out next to the corner flag. Bernardo Silva himself takes this. Bernardo Silva, who's clipped his beard this week, so it's a little bit shorter than it was, I notice. Here's Mahrez, who is challenged and fouled by Norwood. Stuart Atwell immediately gave it. Ollie Norwood didn't like it, but it's a free kick to Manchester City. So with Everton dropping into the bottom 3, Leicester are now above the line on goal difference, 28 points. Leeds United with 29 points, but still very, very tight down there. And as I say, West Ham at Bournemouth tomorrow, and West Ham 31 points, Bournemouth with 33. We'll have much more, by the way, at half-time. We'll round everything up on 5 Live and the World Service as well after the earlier events. But a free kick to Manchester City, and still it is 0-0. Mahrez and Gundogan just looking at one another. Mahrez looking at Gundogan, but I think he's got his sights on what he's going to do. Gundogan raises his right arm. Mahrez runs over it. Gundogan curls it into the back post. Laporte was there, it was blocked. The missed kick by Bernardo Silva. Cheers for that from the Sheffield United fans. And then a challenge by Jefferson. It's given as a penalty. The teenager swung a leg at it. Bernardo Silva was in the way of the ball. Down he went, and Stuart Atwell had an angle there on the far side near the corner of the box, and he's pointed to the penalty spot. And you know what that means. A swing, he missed the ball, he caught Bernardo Silva. VAR will have a look at this, but I'm pretty sure that they'll stick with the referee's decision.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll check everything around it, but the actual contact it's a definite penalty kick. It's real naive defending by a young striker, come back to help his team out. He tries to win the first header, loses track of the ball momentarily, spins round, sees it in front of him, and just has a big swipe at it. And as I mentioned 15 minutes or so ago, Bernardo Silva just looks like he's quicker to the ball, just takes a touch, and once that swipe comes in, he's going to take the contact, and referee quick to get the penalty kick.
Well, this, unless I'm very much mistaken here, well, Mahrez has got the ball, but surely it's Haaland, who missed the penalty in midweek. Ilkay Gundogan was there protecting the penalty spot. Haaland is now walking forward. Mahrez is there with the ball. It looks as though it's going to be Mahrez after Haaland missed a penalty for the first time for Manchester City in midweek. So he scored 7, missed the 1, put it over the top of the crossbar when we were in the Allianz Arena on Wednesday night. And Mahrez, who himself, it should be said, has tucked away 3 penalties this season, but also had 2 saved. Mahrez is going to take it. Sheffield United fans behind the goal, doing what they can, Fodringham on the line. This to break the deadlock, this to put Manchester City, treble chasing Manchester City in front. Mahrez with the left foot, sends the goalkeeper the wrong way. The ball's in the back of the Sheffield United net, and in the 43rd minute, it's taken that long, but Manchester City are in front from the penalty spot. Riyad Mahrez, Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0.
Yeah, brilliant penalty, really was. Not only does he send the goalkeeper the wrong way, but he puts it right in the corner, right inside that post, that upright. Goalkeeper wouldn't have had a chance had he gone the right way, and people looking, wondering why Erling Haaland wasn't stood over that penalty kick. That is exactly why. Quite often in a squad of players, everybody wants to take penalty kicks. The rules generally are, if you missed one, you're off them, the next guy's waiting. Even someone like Erling Haaland has to be a part of the squad and be a part of the team. And Manchester City, Riyad Mahrez taking the ball and putting Manchester City ahead.
Well, cue first question Pep Guardiola is going to be asked after the match. And this season, if, say, Erling Haaland finishes on, what was Dixie Dean's total? It was 63, I think, in all competitions, wasn't it?
I think so.
He finishes on 63 or 62. You're thinking back to Wembley and the penalty that he didn't take. But as you say, Leon, and if ever there was a team man in this sport, Leon, You know, that was very much you, wasn't it? But
I never went anywhere near the penalty spot, though, John. That was for sure.
Yeah, but that's because of the team, wasn't
Absolutely.
it?
No,
Yeah.
but you're talking about individual records of the great Dixie Dean. And Manchester City go on and win the treble, which at this point they're very capable of doing. Yes, individual records are ones that you want to get, but the team comes first, absolutely, and always. And you know, Riyad Mahrez has probably been waiting patiently in case Erling Haaland was to miss a penalty kick, knowing that he would get responsibilities next, and he took them and he put the penalty kick away.
Akanji playing the ball over the top. Walker might have been offside. Crosses, and a stretching Alvarez can't get a touch, and then the flag is up. And he was, Kyle Walker. He did look it. Yeah. So free kick to Sheffield United. So Manchester City leading 1-0, but it took until the 43rd minute. All of those who were suggesting record scores for an FA Cup semi-final, I might have had a look. I might have done.
What might it be?
Well, the record for one team in an FA Cup semi-final is 6.
Well, there's still a half of football to go. You can't put anything past this Manchester City side, trying not to be disrespectful to Sheffield United. But I think we've just seen that, John, the difference in Kyle Walker playing at full-back to maybe John Stones, who plays there, or the way Manchester City operate nowadays. They tend to have one of their full-backs goes into midfield, they leave a base of 3 at the back. That's not how Kyle Walker plays it. Gomez has been going into midfield, and yet Kyle Walker is still roaming up the right-hand side like a full-back, leaving only 2 Manchester City players at the back. He plays it completely differently than what we're currently used to seeing Pep Guardiola's team doing.
That's Leon Osman with us on 5 Live in the World Service. Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0. And on both domestic and foreign services, we will bring you a roundup of everything that's happened today on this busy Saturday afternoon at half-time. And Akanji turning as the ball was played to Jebison. I feel for him, the young man, the 19-year-old. Well, he must have dreamed of this. I don't know when Paul Heckingbottom will have told him that he was playing in the game, but about what he might do in one penalty area. And Jai, who had that big chance early on in the match, wasn't able to take it. Here he is, but running away from the penalty area. Manchester City have won possession back. Yeah, Jebison thinking about what he might have done in the opposition penalty area. As it turned out, it was a mistimed challenge in his own box that resulted in the conceding of the penalty. And Jack Grealish has pulled up and has got moving again, though, and I think he's going to be okay.
I think it was a contact injury. He certainly seemed to feel the effects of it. But yeah, young Jebison, he's come into the team. He's give his all, but it was just a moment where sometimes you want your strikers just to stay up the far side of the pitch, be a nuisance, stay out the way, go and cause the opposition defence problems. But the size he is, you do need him to come back and help out. He's in your own penalty area. And just that moment of just losing track of where you are. You cannot swing that wildly for the ball, whether you're bringing it under control, whether you're shooting or whether you're clearing. You can't do that at this top level of football, especially inside your own penalty area. There are too many clever players about, none more so than Bernardo Silva, who just saw the contact come a little touch away from him and got the penalty kick.
And there we are, there is the half-time whistle at a sunlit Wembley Stadium. We're tucked away here in our commentary box at the back of the lower tier, but just the one goal so far, and it is out of play. It is the players who are leaving the pitch now are heading towards the dressing rooms down to our left, with Manchester City leading by 1-0. The Riyad Mahrez penalty. But overall, over the piece, Leon, you know, Sheffield United have handled it well.
They have. They've certainly come to try and make it difficult for Manchester City. 5 at the back. They've really flooded the middle of the pitch, making sure they're not making it easy for Manchester City through the middle. That Berger, Norwood, Fleck have worked tirelessly to make it difficult, but Manchester City just wear you down. They keep on pushing forward. They keep possession of the ball. It took a mistake to create that opening for Manchester City with that penalty kick, but you can't argue that City probably deserve to just about be ahead.
Yep, which they are through Riyad Mahrez's goal from the penalty spot, his 13th goal for Manchester City this season. And a curious fact to leave you with at the end of the first half, that Sheffield United have not had a single throw-in in the first half. Here at Wembley, Manchester City 1, Sheffield United 0.
It's better than a Tony Livesey one, John, isn't it?
You're well reminded.
Thank
yes,
you.
I need to do that tomorrow.
Yes, you do.
Fact of the day.
John, Leon, thank you very much. Of course, second half commentary on the way from Wembley Stadium of the FA Cup semi-final. We're going to bring you as much reaction as we possibly can to a string of important football stories between now and the second half kicking off. There is a live game going on in the Championship. Millwall's defeat to Wigan means either Preston or Blackburn could end the day in the top six. Niall McCorn.
Currently goalless at the moment. It was gut-wrenching for Blackburn midweek, though, as they conceded a desperate late equaliser to Coventry goalkeeper Ben Wilson, and Preston North End are looking to pile on the pain in this Lancashire derby at Deepdale in a congested Championship. As you say, it might be 7th versus 12th today, but it's so tight in that playoff race right now. Every point is priceless. PNE 3 points off the top six. Rovers just a point out of the picture after today's 3 o'clock kickoffs, but a Blackburn running out of steam at the worst possible time. Since losing their FA Cup quarter-final against Sheffield United, they haven't won a game and arguably haven't quite been the same. Preston, meanwhile, are decent at home, unbeaten in their last 6 and looking for an outside shot at a return to top-flight football for the first time in more than 60 years. Still goalless here.
There've been a ton of difficult permutations to get round over the course of the day. For Wrexham in the National League, it is now simple. Beat Boreham Wood, get promoted today, Sahel Sahi.
Yes, that's right, Stephen. They'll be back in the EFL for the first time since 2008. Anything less, a draw or a defeat, and they will head into the final day next weekend. It's a carnival atmosphere around this famous old ground, Steve. The racecourse, fans have been sampling the local food, beer and music from 2 p.m. with a game to kick off at 6:30 tonight. It's Wrexham's final home game of this campaign. They've won 21 of the 22 games played. You'd be foolish to bet against them now.
Loads of reaction on the way to the Premier League games this afternoon. We'll also be reflecting on Rochdale's relegation from the Football League. Huge congratulations, meanwhile, to Leyton Orient, champions of League Two, and to Stirling, who were champions of League Two in Scotland. Loads to come then after the news on 5 Live with Carl Hartley.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
Thanks, Steve. Tributes are being paid to the Australian entertainer Barry Humphries, who's died at the age of 89 in Sydney. He'll be best remembered for his alter ego Dame Edna Everage. Our Australia correspondent is Phil Mercer.
He was admitted into hospital in February after a fall at his apartment here in Sydney. He was treated at St Vincent's Hospital, and we have heard from his family saying that he was himself until the bitter end, never losing his brilliant mind.
The Prime Minister has held an emergency Cobra meeting to discuss the situation for UK nationals trapped by the fighting in Sudan. One UK citizen who's stuck in the capital, Khartoum, has complained to the BBC about a lack of help, describing the situation as depressing. Stuart MacDonald has been appointed as the Scottish National Party's new treasurer. He replaces Colin Beattie, who quit after being arrested and released without charge by police investigating the SNP's finances. And several people have been arrested after animal rights protesters attempted to disrupt the Scottish Grand National. Officers intervened after animal rights activists rushed onto the racecourse. Security had been stepped up at the event after protesters delayed the start of the Grand National at Aintree last week.
I'm Mikel Antonio. I'm Callum Wilson, and this is the Footballers Football Podcast. When we beat you on Wednesday, you're going to be back in the bottom three. I'm not letting you score. You're not going to score. I'm going to kick you.
What a header, what a goal! Callum Wilson loves playing against tonight's opponents, and he's done it again.
Mikey, is that you?
When he plays against us, is a thing, isn't it?
There was only one person going to be doing a Macarena. I had to do it for the podcast.
Did your heart drop when he did the celebration, or did you have a little laugh at the time?
Bro, I can't laugh at the pitch.
What would you have actually done if I'd have come up to you? Really?
If I saw you run my way, I would have run off.
The Footballers Football Podcast. Listen on BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
Manchester City won Sheffield United 0 half-time at Wembley Stadium in the first of the FA Cup semi-finals. Second half commentary on the way. In the Premier League, Leicester came from behind to beat Wolves 2-1 and record their first win since February the 11th. Those 3 points enough to move them out of the bottom three on goal difference. So, very successful first home game in charge for Dean Smith, who's been speaking to Gary Flintoff.
Well, Dean, many congratulations. What does that victory do for Leicester City's season?
I don't know for the season yet, but it certainly gives everybody a big boost. We can't get away from the fact we was on a rotten run of form, which has put us in the position we're in, and we needed to get a victory. So to come from a goal behind to get the victory is probably sweeter because it shows the character and the spirit. That's probably been questioned about the players because of the position we're in, but I've seen a spirit and a character since I've been here. Only a short space of time, I know. I'm really pleased with how we approached the game. Another mistake cost us, unfortunately, a goal. And I thought for the next 20 minutes then we found it tough. I thought their movement was brighter than ours and they caused us problems. And until we went and played to Jamie Vardy's strengths and put a ball into the space for him to run onto, we were second best. And Vardy's won a penalty for us and got us back in the game. We got to half time, probably with a share of the spoils, probably deserved to be down a goal, but he got us back into that with a great run. And then we managed to change it, put an extra man in midfield, and I thought second half we were really good. Great credit to the players, took on new instructions, took the game to them, and I thought we created the big chances in the game. Dak has had the shot saved, Keenan's put the rebound over, Cags has had a good effort saved, and Dak has had one at the end where we could have gone 3-1, and another moment where we didn't pass it, but we defended our box really well. We dropped deep in the last 5-10 minutes, but I thought we defended the box really well.
Leicester manager Dean Smith. Everton held on for a point, drawing 0-0 away at Crystal Palace after going down to 10 men, but despite that, they do fall into the bottom three. Here's Sean Dyche.
They're the informed side. They've been scoring goals as well. It's not like they've nicked a couple of games. They've won convincingly. So coming down here, it's always an awkward place to come to. I've been here many times, and the fans get behind them, the energy of the sort of team. So we had to be aware of that, and I thought we were for the most part. And then we go down to 10 men, and then it's how you see the game through. I thought our keeper played very well. Our two centre-halves were very good and strong today, and they gave us a backbone to build from, even with 10 men.
You decided today that Mason Holgate should come in to start the game. As you've alluded to, didn't end the game. Just how did you see both yellows?
Yeah, I mean, he's got a tangle. The second one's probably harsher because I think it's that old favourite. His leg reaches around the player, gets somewhat of a touch on the ball, but nowadays, look, you can't do that. We know that. 2 yellows, that's the way it goes. He's an experienced player. He's come back in the side. We'd expect that not to happen, but it did.
You will always say as a manager that it's all about focusing on the next game. When you do drop into the bottom three, albeit on goal difference, how easy or tough is it to distract the players away from that?
It's up to them. It's not relevant to me because I just look at the one at the end of the season. That's the most important table, make no mistake.
Sean Dyche. At Anfield, it finished Liverpool 3, Nottingham Forest 2. All 5 goals were in the second half. So that's 4 consecutive defeats for Forest. They're now second from bottom. Here's Steve Cooper with Martin Fisher.
To not learn our lesson off the first free kick and almost sort of repeat with a decent ball in, obviously, and to a free man is, the frustrating's the right word.
There are ways of losing games, aren't there, Steve? And today, just judging by the reaction of your fans and the players when they came off as well, there'll be great belief out of that performance, won't there?
Listen, nobody will be happy going out of here because we've lost a football match, and it adds to the run and etc., and conceding 3 and all of them things add to the stats that don't look favourable at all. We know that, but we have to take some sort of heart from the spirit, the mentality, the sticking to the plan, and some of the performance that we played in one of the hardest away games in Europe, never mind the Premier League. So we have to cling on to that. We have to cling on to it. Like I said, the overall feeling is one of disappointment and frustration because we've lost the game in 3 set pieces, but we've got to quickly get over it. We've got another game Wednesday. It was always going to be a huge week. Home game Wednesday. Like I said, we've got to cling on to the positives out of the game. Use the frustration and turn it into motivation and aim to do better on Wednesday.
That's Steve Cooper. At the bottom of League Two, Rochdale's 102-year stay as a league club is over. That's after they lost 1-0 at Stockport. Watched by Adam Cottier.
McNulty, the interim manager of Rochdale, he says he's absolutely devastated. He says he's got 2 young daughters who are Rochdale fans at home, and he'll have to deal with tears here tonight. Huge despondency for Rochdale after more than a century in the Football League. A dismal performance from them here today. 26th defeat of the season. They only had 1 shot all afternoon in a game they needed to win, and they fall out of the Football League. McNulty says plans must be put in place to make sure things change for next season in the National League. Stockport beating Rochdale today by 1-0, and Rochdale dropping out of the Football League.
Adam, thank you very much indeed. We started the day at Stamford Bridge, where Chelsea lost to Barcelona in the first leg of their Women's Champions League semi-final. Caroline Graham-Hansen's strike after just 4 minutes was the only goal of the game, and more concerns for the England manager Sarina Wiegman. Lucy Bronze limped off in the second half, although her manager has said he thinks she's going to be okay. The second leg in the camp now is on Thursday, 5:30 kickoff. You can hear it here on 5 Live. So the big football stories of the day in the Championship: nobody went down, not today at least. The bottom 2 both won. Wigan 2-1 against Millwall, who were 6th, and Blackpool 1-0 at Birmingham. Coventry have gone into 5th after beating Reading 2-1, their 3rd from bottom, and Burnley are yet to win the title. QPR beat them 2-1 at Turf Moor. Huge victory that for QPR in their own fight to stay in the Championship. The top 6 all won in League One, including Plymouth, who were top of the league on 92 points after a 3-1 win over Cambridge. Ipswich, who were second on 91 points after a 3-0 victory at Peterborough. And Sheffield Wednesday, who were third on 90 points after a 2-1 win over Exeter. Leyton Orient are champions of League Two after beating Crewe by 2-0. And a huge win for Crawley at Hartlepool by 2-0. So Crawley are 6 points above them with 2 games to go. So it looks very much now like Hartlepool are going to be joining Rochdale in being relegated out of the EFL. In the National League, Jim O'Brown scored a hat-trick for Notts County, so they beat Maidstone by 5-2. That's why Wrexham need to beat Boreham Wood to secure their place in the Football League tonight. It looks like York are staying up after a point against Aldershot. They're 3 points above Torquay, who drew at Altrincham. 1 game to go, but their goal difference is 14 better. Maidenhead's is 7 goals better after drawing at Barnet, so they're not quite safe. But Torquay need a big final day win coupled with a big final day defeat for Maidenhead United. I'll tell you about Scotland after we've checked in at the World Snooker Championships. Jamie Broughton.
And the 7-time champion Ronnie O'Sullivan made a century break as he wrapped up victory over Hossam Vafai by 13 frames to 2 with a session to spare. The build-up to the match had been dominated by the Iranians' negative comments about O'Sullivan, but afterwards they hugged each other and exchanged some warm words. So, are they now friends?
Hopefully. So, yeah.
What did you say to him at the end?
I just hope we're friends now. Sorry, whatever, And he smiled, and yeah, fine. You never know. Who knows? Who knows what's around the corner?
How much, though, did his comments fire you up going into that match?
No, it's not like I take comments personally. Probably had 5 or 6 people say something over my career that have just inspired me to just prove to myself, to prove that I can still play the game, And I take it as a challenge to myself.
Ronnie O'Sullivan now plays Luca Brissell, and the Welsh qualifier Jack Jones is also through to the quarter-finals and a match against Mark Allen after he beat the former champion Neil Robertson 13-7.
Jamie, thank you very much. So to the Scottish Premiership, Celtic have dropped points, a 1-1 draw against Motherwell. They're 13 clear of Rangers. St Mirren have secured their best league finish since 1985 because they've secured a top 6 place despite their 2-0 defeat against Kilmarnock. Remember, the league now splits in 2, so 6th is the lowest they can finish. Killie are still second bottom, but they're now 4 points clear of Ross County, who lost 6-1 at Hearts. A hat-trick for Lawrence Shankland, and that is their first win under Stephen Naismith. In the Scottish Championship, Hamilton now cannot escape the bottom 2. Either they'll go straight down or they'll face a relegation playoff after they drew 2-2 with Partick. In Scottish League 1, Peterhead and Clyde, we now know they'll finish the season as the bottom 2 after they drew 1-1. We just don't know in which order. And in Scottish League 2, Stirling go up as champions after a 3-1 win over Annan. 2 relegations to tell you about elsewhere. In the Welsh Premiership, Flint Town United have gone down after a 3-2 defeat against Pontypridd, and Portadown have been relegated after their own 3-2 loss at Dungannon. You are up to date, and the teams are back out at Wembley Stadium for the second half of the FA Cup semi-final. It's Manchester City against Sheffield United, and Leon Osman is with our correspondent John Murray.
Yes, welcome back inside Wembley Stadium, where Manchester City lead by 1-0. with the second half about to begin. Manchester City, their players were second out of the dressing room, but they've sprinted out, they're in position, and there are no changes. So Ortega in goal, Walker, Akanji, Laporte and Gomez are the back four, although Walker and Gomez are moving into midfield. Gundogan playing in the Rodri role. There's the whistle from Stuart Atwell to signal the start of the second half. Alvarez playing it all the way back to Ortega. And then Manchester City with Mahrez on the right, Grealish on the left, Bernardo Silva and Alvarez centrally, and Erling Haaland through the middle. It's a big talking point so far that when Manchester City were awarded a penalty late in the first half, that it was Riyad Mahrez who took it and scored it, rather than the 48-goal top scorer. And Sheffield United are, as they started the match as well, with Foderingham in goal, Ahmed Hodzic, Egan and Robinson, the three central defenders, as the ball's played forward but bounces through to the United goalkeeper Foderingham. So Baldock on the right, Lowe on the left as the wing backs, then Berger, Norwood and Fleck in the central area, and Jebison and Njai, with McBurney and Billy Sharp among others as the Sheffield United substitutes. Jebison, the 19-year-old, conceding the penalty late in the first period. Still lots of people coming back to their seats inside Wembley Stadium. Red seats I can see dotted around the three tiers of Wembley Stadium. The sun is still shining. We can see it on the Manchester City supporters to the left. It'll be shining on the arch, which is out of our sight. And a free kick to Manchester City on the halfway line, just inside their own half. So Leon Osman, what's the approach now for Manchester City? More of the same. And what about Sheffield United?
Well, I think for Manchester City, yeah, more of the same. Keep the ball. Let's try and get goals number 2 and 3 as quickly as possible to try and put this game to bed. For Sheffield United, it's the opposite. Stay in the game. You don't need to go chasing just yet. If we can get to the 80th minute with 1-0 and then go at it, really go at it for 10 minutes, put City on the back foot at that point, I think that would give them a really good opportunity. So I don't think the message from Sheffield United would to be do anything different at the moment, because for the majority of that first half they were quite comfortable defensively.
Pep Guardiola just making 1 or 2 adjustments there, just pointing out onto the field. On the bench for City today, De Bruyne, Rodri, Stones, Diaz, goalkeeper Ederson of course, no Nathan Ake. Phil Foden is on the bench again. I thought he might have started, having gone to Munich, but he had only 1 training session before the second leg in Munich on Wednesday night, so he's on the bench again. We might see him a little later. But I suppose that game on Wednesday night will be in the mind of Pep Guardiola against Arsenal, the top 2 in the Premier League. You know, if at all possible, he'll want to get 1 or 2 of this starting 11 off the field, won't he?
I'm sure he will. We've just seen pictures of the Manchester City bench, and John Stones, Rodri, Diaz, Kevin De Bruyne all sat there. I'm sure Pep's hoping probably not to need to use them today, give them a good rest before that big game coming up. I mean, they're all very significant players, especially John Stones, who's become, in the role he operates for Manchester City, very, very important. No surprise to see him taking a rest today, but you're right, I thought maybe Phil Foden would have played. Maybe we'll see him as this game goes on.
Yes, John Stones, the Barnsley Beckenbauer, as they're calling him now. Grealish with the ball inside his own half, then curls it behind Walker, who had to stretch a leg, and then plays it back to the goalkeeper. And he got a chance to play against Franz Beckenbauer's old club in midweek, John Stones. Here's Akanji, forward from him, up towards Haaland, who backs away and then beats the defender. Robinson going to ground. Haaland is off and running through the middle, ahead of the centre circle, then passes it out to the right-hand side. Mahrez, step over, and again back onto his right foot, then back onto his left, and then back centrally to Bernardo Silva. They wanted him to shoot, he doesn't. He angles it back to Mahrez, and Mahrez, a little pass, just allows the ball to roll over the surface of the Wembley pitch to Gundogan, who carries it into the penalty area but then overruns it. I think the defender got a touch on that as well, Lowe, and Lowe actually hairs after it and puts it out for a throw on the right-hand side. Manchester City then on course for the FA Cup final, having lost in their last 3 FA Cup finals, the last 3 seasons. Manchester City have been here, lost to Arsenal, lost to Chelsea, lost to Liverpool last season, and no team has ever lost 4 consecutive FA Cup semi-finals in successive seasons. Here's Laporte carrying the ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Gomez, now Grealish, hair swept back. Ball on his right foot, into the penalty area he goes, taking on Baldock, and then flicking it back. Gomez's ball across the penalty area, and a falling header away by Norwood. Manchester City back with it. Gundogan is closed down by Njai. Manchester City, though, as they attack towards their own supporters in the end to our left. Grealish playing it square towards Gundogan. Gundogan drags it back with the top of his foot. Kyle Walker thinks about a shot which is deflected on the edge of the area, and it loops up and over, and I think wide of the goal as well, but it is a corner.
Yeah, I think it was fortunate for Kyle Walker. It took that deflection. I don't think it was going to trouble the goalkeeper. It certainly didn't seem to make him want to scramble across his goal in any sense, but Manchester City picking up where they left off in the first half, just controlling possession, controlling territory, making Sheffield United really defend their penalty area really well. Show good patience as well in that attack, Manchester City.
It was 7 corners in the first half, by the way, for Manchester City. This is their first of the second, and it is Mahrez, the goal scorer, who swings it in, and it's caught by goalkeeper Fotheringham, snatched it out of the air and held it confidently, and still has it on the edge of the area, all in green. Underarms it out to Sheffield United, the Blades and the red and white striped shirts, but Berger is caught in possession by Alvarez. Groans from the Sheffield United fans who've made their way down the M1 today, those who've come from the Steel City. They knew that they were up against it. They've lost their last 5 FA Cup semi-finals, lost their last 5 semi-finals full stop since a League One semi back in 2012. Here's Grealish running it forward, but then Baldock was able to get a touch on that, passes it forward to Njai, but it bounces off him, and Manchester City are back with it again. Gundogan into the centre circle to Kyle Walker, and Walker just uses the top of his boot to give it to Bernardo Silva, and then further out to the right hand side to Mahrez, who moves infield, square from him, 22 yards out. Gundogan tries to lift it into the penalty area. That was blocked by Norwood, and now it's kept in play on the far side by Jebbison. That's what Paul Heckingbottom will have wanted him to do, just run tirelessly, and that's what he was doing there. The 19-year-old challenges for the ball on the halfway line, Jebbison, but loses out. Then Norwood with a header back, which very nearly put his defence in trouble, and in the end actually it had to be headed behind by Robinson for a corner to Manchester City. The poor Norwood header.
Yeah, they've got to be a lot better in possession of the ball, Sheffield United. It's not easy when you're chasing and the opposition have the ball as often as Manchester City have done, but when you win it back, those first 2 or 3 passes have got to be kept. Despite how difficult it is, you need to sum the energy up to keep possession of the ball, just giving it straight back to Manchester City.
It's 5 Live in the World Service from the BBC, live from Wembley. 1-0 Manchester City, and with that scoreline, the semi-final is still alive. Second goal for Manchester City. You simply couldn't see Sheffield United coming back from that. They've had some tussles in the FA Cup this season as the corner is played in, but it's a deep one over everyone. And Manchester City, though, are able to get the ball back. Grealish then goes square to Bernardo Silva, who got it under control with John Fleck closing them down. Mahrez now on the right-hand side into the penalty area, up against Lowe, then back to Gundogan. Low shot from him, deflected inside the penalty area, only half cleared away, and then it comes off Fleck and bounces away behind for another corner to Manchester City. And Sheffield United are right under pressure here.
Yeah, they are. Manchester City are just building, and actually Akanji's got his hands on his head. He was the one who blocked that Gundogan shot. I don't think the keeper was going to get there, and Akanji knew that good Gundogan shot may have gone close and may have put Manchester City 2-0 ahead.
Packed 6-yard box as Mahrez waits to play this in. Laporte has joined in as well. Haaland is in there, towering above everyone else, that blonde hair. Mahrez swings it to the back post, and that looked like a foul by Akanji. It was on the defender, on Egan, and it's a free kick to Sheffield United in their own box.
Yeah, that was really good by Egan. He was under severe pressure there from Akanji, and Manchester City, Riyad Mahrez, have delivered those in-swinging corners really deep, as if they're trying to expose Egan with Akanji around the back of the corner of the 6-yard box, and Egan held him off, got his body position brilliant there, and ended up taking the foul.
Paul Heckingbottom, the Sheffield United manager, this Yorkshireman, 45 years old, might be managing in the Premier League next season. They're very nearly there, Sheffield United. Just in discussions with former Everton great Stuart McCall, great FA Cup history that he has as well, the two of them down on the coaching area.
Stuart McCall scored a wonderful goal here in 1989, didn't he, in that FA Cup final against Liverpool. And a disgusting, great experience. He's got to help Paul Heckingbottom on that touchline. And you're right, they've had a terrific season. Fully expect to see them promoted to the Premier League very, very soon. If they could just go one step further and somehow get themselves in a cup final.
As Alvarez wins a free kick inside his own half. Free kick groans from the Sheffield United fans just in front of Paul Heckingbottom, who's got his own little piece of FA Cup history. I don't know if you know this, Leon. Paul Heckingbottom, the man who lost in the second round of the FA Cup but scored in the third. How did he do that? Bernardo Silva bringing the ball forward on the right hand side. The ball is back. Mahrez now moving in from the right hand side, gives it to Gundogan. Gundogan then to his left. Sergio Gomez with a shot that was closed down by Berger. Haaland sliding in, but sliding it wide, and he kept sliding there, well behind the goal. When he gets some momentum behind him, no one can stop him.
That's it. He just builds speed up from a standing start to the speed and the acceleration he can get to. It's quite incredible, as everybody else was stood watching where that deflected Gomez shot was going to end up. He was already getting up to full flights on the full stretch back post. Couldn't quite convert it to be on target, but as you said, couldn't stop sliding nearly into the hoardings, which are a good 15 yards off the pitch.
1-0 Manchester City lead. This is the FA Cup semi-final on the BBC, on 5 Live, the World Service, and Sheffield United playing the ball forward for Akanji, who passes it back to Ortega, who had to then clear it sharpish. Ollie McBurney's going to come on, so that's what they were discussing. Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall. Was this the moment to bring on Ollie McBurney, given away by Ahmed Hodzic? So Manchester City come forward again. They have to get back, Sheffield United. But it is Mahrez now to the edge of the area square from him. Alvarez turns, left-footed shot. He's got that hole wrong. Got right underneath it and lifted it well wide and high. And now here's the change. And it is Jebbison, the teenager, who has had almost an hour, conceded the penalty. But I think overall, in terms of his movement and what he's done, he's carried out his manager's orders. And now the number 9, the Scotland international, Ollie McBurney, who scored a couple of goals in the FA Cup, this FA Cup run this season, and he's been sent on there to get another.
Yeah, well, he's certainly got the pedigree for it, hasn't he? And he certainly knows how to convert chances and opportunities when they come his way. They need to get up the pitch at the moment, Sheffield United. They're just getting pinned in a little bit too much, unable to keep possession of the ball. Need to get it wide, get it forward, get crosses into the penalty area. So you see the best of McBurney.
He's quite a sight, isn't he, Ollie McBurney, with his beard and his close cropped blonde hair, a shirt that looks as though it's maybe 2 sizes too small, bulging biceps, socks going down his calves, big tattoo on the back of one of his calves.
He's got the style of Steve Claridge of old, that kind of style, hasn't he, where, as you said, socks low and
two-tone boots. Yes, hello Steve, if you're listening. Here's Berger down the right-hand side. Berger crossing, and Ortega is able to go down almost onto one knee and scoop it up into his orange shirt.
Yeah, actually, Bernie should have got across him at the front post. That's much better from Sheffield United, getting players forward. Berger running in behind Gomez in that left-back area, getting in front of his right wing-back into all that space and delivering a cross hard and low to the front post. Comes all the way towards that area. Ortega is able to take it in far too comfortably, but encouraging.
Manchester City 1-0 up. Ollie McBurney's 2 goals in the Cup this season. The first of them was in the 3-3 draw at Wrexham, that exciting tie that went to a replay, and Sheffield United won it only right at the end. And then the 3-2 win against Blackburn that Sheffield United had in the quarter-final, when Doyle scored the winner right at the end. Can't play in this game, Tommy Doyle, but is, as I mentioned, sitting down there just in the row behind James McAtee, as Ortega passes the ball out from the back, but Walker bounces to him, and then forward from Bernardo Silva, and Haaland is off and running through the middle, plays it square. Almost an hour played. Wonder how long Pep Guardiola will leave Haaland out there, but Grealish now on the left hand side goes for the byline, clips it across, might have been out of play before he crossed it. it was out of play. The assistant on the far side is flagging, so it is a free kick it's a goal kick for Sheffield United. Mention of Wrexham, by the way, they kick off at 6:30. You might be on your way there now. What time is it now? Just after 6 o'clock, so you've got less than half an hour. And if Wrexham win tonight, after Notts County's win earlier, Wrexham's promotion will be confirmed. We'll keep you updated on that during the course of the commentary and during 606 as well on 5 Live. Lines are open for that now, 08085 909 693, to talk to Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton after another dramatic day's football. Lowe's been caught in possession on the halfway line by Mahrez, who's running now towards the edge of the area, and it's opened right up for him, and he's tucked it away. The defence just opened up, and Sheffield United said to Riyad Mahrez, on you go, and he did just that. He took it, I think, beyond the penalty spot before he stroked it past the goalkeeper, Fodringham, and into the back of the net, and that should do it. That should book Manchester City's place in the 2023 FA Cup final. Both goals from Mahrez, Manchester City 2, Sheffield United 0, and after all of that excellent defending, what was that?
Well, it was quite brilliant from Riyad Mahrez, really poor from Lowe, just gave possession of the ball to Riyad Mahrez, who was quick to close him down and win the ball back in. Then he picks it up and he just drives at the heart of that Sheffield United defence. He's got Erling Haaland running one side of him, he's got Alvarez trying to make up the movement to run to his right, so the Sheffield United back three are distracted. Robinson doesn't come inside quick enough, but Egan, I don't know if he's thinking he's going to make the pass. He tries to anticipate that Riyad Mahrez is going to make the pass to Erling Haaland. He jumps to one side of him, just allows Mahrez to run right through the centre. He won't have believed his luck, Riyad Mahrez, without really doing anything. A little shimmy of the body, maybe. Finds himself penalty spot, opportunity to pick his corner. He does it well. He's full of confidence at the moment after scoring the opener, and he scores the second as well. Brilliant from Riyad Mahrez.
Well, I can't remember the last time I saw a goal scored like that in a top-level match.
Oh, you're
Remarkable.
right. You're right. You don't see it very often. It was just as if Egan thought he's just trying to anticipate that pass from Riyad Mahrez to Erling Haaland. Haaland has that effect on people without you even notice it. You expect everybody's going to pass Haaland the ball. Egan did. He sort of moved to one side as if he was trying to cut that pass out. Riyad Mahrez just goes right through the middle. One-on-one with the goalkeeper. There's only one winner at the moment. Riyad Mahrez, full of confidence, dispatches it brilliantly.
It was the parting of the red and white sea, and Riyad Mahrez just took it on through the middle, and as you say, a little swivel of the hips, and then passed it into the back of the net. And in the end, he was, I think, between the penalty spot and the 6-yard area where he hit the shot. So there we are, 2-0 to Manchester City. Manchester United against Brighton tomorrow. You will hear that in full on 5 Live. 2 Premier League commentaries as well tomorrow. All of the day's sport will be covered for you from 12 o'clock. The London Marathon will be going all morning, so you'll be able to listen to that on 5 Live, updates on 5 Live, but also you'll be able to watch it on BBC One. But then the Premier League commentaries tomorrow, the 2 o'clock kickoffs. Newcastle against Tottenham's on 5 Live, and Bournemouth against West Ham is on Sports Extra, so you'll need your digital radio or BBC Sounds for that. Lines are open for 606 08085 909 693. You can get in touch 85058 on the text, hashtag BBC 606. And Manchester City now, I suppose the question is when Pep Guardiola will make his changes with a 2-0 lead. Billy Sharp, I see, is going to come on for Sheffield United as well. The old stager, 37 years old, great servant for this club.
Yeah, and he's another one who knows where the goal is, given an opportunity, but yeah, we might be getting to that moment where you might as well lose 4 or 5-0 as lose 2-0 in a cup semi-final.
Need to find out what's happening between Preston and Blackburn as well, but Sergio Gomez has gone off on a run as well, trying to do a Mahrez through the middle, but this time Sheffield United put the challenges in, and it's actually been brought back for one of the first challenges in there for a free kick 10 yards forward of the centre circle. Manchester City. So Billy Sharp's waiting to come on, the number 10 on the edge of the coaching area here at Wembley Stadium, jumping, lifting his knees up to his chest. Grealish with the ball at his feet, playing it across, bounces off Alvarez and is cleared to the halfway line. So let's go to Deepdale, and Niall McCorn
Preston 0, Blackburn 0, and North End have looked the more likely. A pair of Premier League loanees up front for Preston have been sharp. Tom Cannon dragging wide the best chance of the game so far, but only just. Blackburn looking bright on the breakaway, but no goals so far in the midst of what's been a top atmosphere in an entertaining Lancashire derby. Preston 0, Blackburn 0.
Yeah, they both could yet win promotion. They have the chance. They're both just outside the promotion places, the playoff places in the Championship. Here's Grealish into the box, plays it across, left foot shot, it's Mahrez again, it's a hat-trick, and he's driven it in. Goalkeeper got a touch, couldn't keep it out, and Mahrez makes it 3-0 to Manchester City. What a day for him in the Wembley semi-final. A hat-trick.
Well, a stunning hat-trick as well. Oh, with the left foot, brilliantly struck. Goalkeeper gets a hand to it, but he just can't keep it out. Such is the contact that Riyad Mahrez makes, and City do really well. They move the ball across the pitch, move it really quickly out to Grealish. He starts to approach the penalty area. Previously, he's come inside. The time before that, he went on the outside to the byline. This time, he just waits and waits and waits for the gap to appear between two defenders, waits for the run of Riyad Mahrez into that pocket of space, roughly around the penalty spot. And as it all comes together, Grealish doesn't move the ball, he just passes it into the area. Mahrez arrives right on cue, strikes it so sweetly, puts City 3-0 ahead, and in that moment, Pep turned round to get the subs ready, to get them warmed up. 3-0's enough for him, 3-0's the time to make his changes.
So the changes are coming, but Riyad Mahrez becomes the first man to score a hat-trick in an FA Cup semi-final since 1958. So that is quite the little piece of FA Cup history for him. Manchester City 3, Sheffield United 0. And with that, Pep Guardiola says, Jack Grealish, off you come. So Phil Foden is going to come on for him. So Grealish is off. He did seem to take a knock, and almost inevitably, he hasn't got a goal today. So after scoring Erling Haaland in his last 7 matches in all competitions, and not having the chance to take a penalty here in the first half at Wembley, off he comes, and Cole Palmer comes on to replace him. He's cheered off, he's hugged, he's given a huge embrace by Pep Guardiola. You'd think it was Haaland who'd scored the hat-trick, not Mahrez.
Yeah, well, I think momentarily Erling Haaland was upset he was coming off. He seemed to give that look, shrug his shoulders, and then sort of realised the situation and what City have got coming up. No surprise that those are the changes that Pep was keen to make, bringing on Palmer and Foden, players who are ready to get game time, really looking to see them. Foden's gone in behind. He's gone in behind Alvarez, who's now gone right up top. Foden playing as a number 10. Palmer come out on this left-hand side where Grealish is. And I'm sure they'll get up to speed very quickly.
And Billy Sharp has come onto the field as well for Sheffield United. But the game's gone now, 3-0. And John Fleck is the player who made way. I think he was a little ill during the course of the week, so Billy Sharp on for him. Manchester City supporters in good voice now. Haaland's gone, but while Haaland couldn't get on the score sheet today, Riyad Mahrez has done. Hasn't scored since February, but he's made up for that here. Although Sheffield United break with Sharp, and Sharp's ball across, and Ollie McBurney in the middle couldn't score, couldn't get the ball from underneath his feet. Gomez, actually, I think McBurney thought that Gomez was going to clear it, he missed it, and therefore Ollie McBurney had a chance there that he wasn't able to take.
Yeah, if you'd have just expected the defender to miss it, you know, maybe been ready just in case. Kind of opportunity was there. Gomez should have dealt with it, just seemed to have a swing and a miss as that cross came in from Billy Sharp. It's a good run, exposing Manchester City in behind Kyle Walker. That's where the space has been for Sheffield United all afternoon. Billy Sharp makes that run early. Maybe would have had an opportunity to get one back.
Actually, on Osman, we're watching Manchester City 3-0 up on Sheffield United and heading for the FA Cup final. They've not been in it since 2019. And that's the only time in the 6 previous seasons so far under Pep Guardiola that his Manchester City team have won the FA Cup. That 6-0 win, that record equalling 6-0 win against Watford
Did they win a treble that year, John?
No, they did not, Leon. So they are on for this treble. That'll be their first final of the season, Champions League semi-final. As we know now, they're 5 points behind Arsenal with 2 matches in hand in the Premier League. That game on Wednesday night. And Pep Guardiola making these changes, so Phil Foden making his return after missing 4 matches, 5 actually, because he didn't come onto the field on Wednesday night. So Foden coming back after having his appendix removed. So this is his first appearance, Phil Foden, since he came on and then was substituted for playing for England in Naples when Luke Shaw was sent off. Here's Palmer on the left-hand side. Cole Palmer, red boots on, takes the ball on. He's in the Grealish position, Palmer, and then back to Gomez, who gives it back to Ilkay Gundogan, who goes all the way back towards the halfway line. So lines open for 606 08 085 909 693 as Mahrez plays it to the offside Walker on the far side, so it's a free kick to Sheffield United. And Paul Heckingbottom and Stuart McCall 3-0 down now, their team. I think they're going to call for another change, having already made a couple of alterations with Bernie and Sharp coming on. I noticed you didn't answer my question a little bit earlier. Paul Heckingbottom. Paul Heckingbottom.
Did a team get expelled from the FA Cup that year?
Not quite. Weren't expelled.
Go on then.
Okay, that was the year that Manchester United withdrew from the competition. And if you remember, Paul Heckingbottom's Darlington at the time were selected, plucked out of the draw as the lucky losers. So having played in the second round and been knocked out, they were then reinstated, and he scored in the third round. So that's how it happened. Quiz question if ever I heard one.
A very good one.
It is a good one, isn't it? Manchester City 3, Sheffield United 0. McBurney heading the ball on. Sharp, I think he handballed it. He did. It bounced up, and it was on the assistant's side, so he wasn't getting away with that. Yeah, it's a free kick.
He was unlucky. It was half an opportunity there. Once McBurney won that flick on, Sharp was onto it quickly. Just seemed to run past it. Didn't really take it with him with his right foot. Maybe slightly missed it, and once he did, it just bounced up and hit his arm. Took it into his path. As you said, the assistant saw it quite clearly, only probably 6 or 7 yards away from it, and opportunity gone.
Manchester City 3-0 up on Sheffield United, and City with the ball inside their own half. So taking your calls after a really eventful day again up and down the leagues, and we'll have updates on Wrexham against Boreham Wood. Still Preston 0, Blackburn 0, as Laporte plays the ball back to Ortega. They'll want a clean sheet now, I'm sure. Ortega coming in, having played in the cup matches this season. The German goalkeeper, this is his 10th appearance. He's played in all of the matches in the FA Cup, so that'll be a question when we get to Wembley for the final, whether Ortega will play or whether Ederson will come back in for the final. Long from Foderingham, and then headed forward by Laporte, and then Gomez got a touch as well. Akanji was able to clear it away on the edge of the Manchester City area. That's a foul on Ahmed Hodzic, and a free kick 10 yards inside the Manchester City territory. So the United fans to our right, 3-0. I don't know what they were expecting today, but they've come with their red and white balloons and their wigs. I mean, it is 3 tiers of red and white shirts to our right, and they're watching the free kick taken by Norwood, which is headed across the penalty area by McBurney, but Manchester City are able to head clear, and it bounces down for Mahrez, who is still on for a chance to add to his hat-trick. Palmer plays it ahead of Norwood, who leaned into him, brought down the youngster, and it's a yellow card for Oliver Norwood. And Calvin Phillips is going to come on very shortly for Manchester City. I must say I'd written him into my starting lineup today, Calvin Phillips, but he is going to get onto the field for the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, he's coming on for Ilkay Gundogan, I think. No surprise there either, because of the amount of games that Gundogan has got through in recent months, and he's such a quality player. He can play as a more advanced midfielder. He can play in the deeper role that he's played today in front of the Manchester City defence, just keeping the ball moving, keeping the attacks alive, keeping everything ticking over. Really top quality player, Kai Gundogan.
Charming man as well. His English is excellent. He spoke to us in Munich this week ahead of the Champions League match, and I was sitting listening to him. And obviously there was a lot of talk about his future, and he is now 32 years old, and he sounded to me like a manager in waiting. Well, Chris Basham is making his comeback now after missing the last couple of matches with injury, and Ahmed Hodzic is making way at the back for him, so he's off. I don't know whether he'll be in a fast car, about to become a father for the first time. And also coming onto the field for Sheffield United, Ismaila Koulibaly, the midfielder, who is going to replace Ahmed Hodzic coming off. Baldock is off as well, so Jayden Bogle is coming on to replace the Greek international George Baldock as he is now, so he's off. And Sander Berge was the other player to make way from the midfield. So that is now, that's his 5 changes for Sheffield United. 3-0 down, Manchester City leading by the 3 goals.
Yeah, again, no surprise to see those changes either, because they've got through a lot of work today, Sheffield United and those players, and you forget Sheffield United's priority this season is promotion. This FA Cup run's been outstanding. They've thoroughly enjoyed it. They was hoping. You talked about what they come to expect today, those Sheffield United fans. They'll have come hoping that something special could happen, not expecting. It's time to make those changes, keep everyone fresh for that final push for the Premier League.
Yeah, we'll talk a lot about how many matches the top clubs have played. This is Manchester City's 49th match of the season, but it's also Sheffield United's 49th match of the season. 3-0 they lead through the Mahrez hat-trick, the first man to score a hat-trick in an FA Cup semi-final since Alex Dawson for another Manchester club, Manchester United, against Fulham in the replay at Highbury when Manchester United won 5-3. So 3-0 here is the scoreline, and it is half-time at Deepdale in the late kick-off in the Championship. Niall McCorn.
It's still goalless, but the home side, North End, have been on top. Ironically, as both of these sides chase a playoff place which could get them into the Premier League, it's been the players on loan from top flight clubs that have been making the difference. Tom Cannon had a great chance early on from PNE, which he dragged wide, whilst Troy Parrott has been snapping at the heels of what's been a stubborn Blackburn defence. Preston probing, but still goalless at Deepdale in this Lancashire derby. 0-0.
Thank you, Niall. Lines are open for 606 on 5 Live, 08085 909 693, hashtag BBC 606. Manchester City with Phillips, then to Gomez, and Gomez finds Phil Foden, and then Foden to the left-hand side to another of the academy players, former academy players, Cole Palmer now, number 80 on his back. Then back to Sergio Gomez. Sheffield United having brought on Bogle, it is now Bogle up against Palmer on the left flank for Manchester City, and he goes all the way back into his own half. You will find all of the day's news, the football news, on the football pages of the BBC Sport website and app, so read all about it there. You can watch the Premier League highlights on BBC One tonight after another eventful day. Leicester are out of the bottom 3. If you're a Leicester City supporter, where do you stand now? Big games coming up for them. Everton have dropped into the relegation places again. And then the 5 Live Football Daily podcast in the morning will round everything up, and you'll hear all of the interviews and the reaction from the top matches on BBC Sounds, which is where you listen to the live radio, or indeed find your podcasts like the new Match of the Day Top 10 series. Ball's out of play for a throw into Sheffield United, halfway inside their own half. So they, in the coming days, will probably clinch their place in the Premier League for next season. So this is a little taste again of what lies ahead, having already knocked Tottenham out of the FA Cup this season, remember. And they play the ball to the right hand side to Bogle, who gets it down and passes it back behind him to Egan, who will turn it back to Foderingham. A left-footed ball from him out towards the far side. Walker got there first. He's taken the captain's armband after Gundogan went off. And then McBurney in the centre circle passes it back to the halfway line, but couldn't find the pass to Basham, who was looking to break away. It was blocked, and Manchester City have it back in the central third. We've got 10 minutes to play here at Wembley. Manchester City on course for the final, and it is not to be Sheffield United's day. It would have been remarkable. It would have been quite the upset. It would have been one of these semi-final upsets, really, even given the position that Sheffield United are in, given Manchester City's current form.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. Sheffield United full of confidence coming here, but coming up against, as Heckingbottom himself said, one of the best teams on the planet. And yes, they've made changes. It's one of those players that's come in and scored a hat-trick here today. He's been head and shoulders above everybody else. His finishing has been immaculate. That left foot has been special today. It really has, and it just shows the quality that Manchester City have. They make changes. It doesn't affect the flow of the team, the way the team goes about it, the way they keep possession of the ball. Doesn't matter which 11 are on the field. The philosophy that Pep Guardiola has is just flowing throughout the squad, and they've showed it here today.
What chance of the treble do you think this season, as Foden wins a free kick fouled by Egan near the halfway line?
I think they've got a very good chance. You want to get to this stage in the season, get to April and still be competing for things, and they certainly are doing that. And they've got the experience, they've got the know-how, they've got real quality within the squad just to keep going. And I'll say this about them, they've found a real run of form at the perfect time as others start to fall away.
Bernardo Silva is the latest player to come off. I think that was almost inevitable, wasn't it, that he would be one of the, I presume it will be 5 by the end of the match. So Rico Lewis has come on. He's another one I thought might have started the match. He's had a run of games on the bench for Manchester City. The 18-year-old unused substitute in the last 5, and he's come on. The question always with him is, where is he going to play? And it's in midfield.
Yeah, he's gone straight into a midfield role, pretty much where Bernardo Silva was playing. And I was just looking down at the substitutes bench and what Manchester City still have to bring on. So Rico Lewis, you knew Bernardo Silva, as you said, has played a lot of minutes himself, and I think that'll probably be their last substitute. I think that, yes, they've got one more to make, but you've got Diaz, Stones, Rodri, Kevin De Bruyne. I don't think
he's not going to use any of them.
I don't think at this stage he'll be looking to use any of them. Those on the pitch, apart from your 2 centre-halves, probably need game time as well. So I'm surprised if, unless there's an injury, determines he has to make a change, he'll keep it like this.
We'll bring you interviews, by the way, on 5 Live during the course of 6:06 from down in the tunnel area. Mas Farouki's going to be down there. But it is Manchester City who've got the ball on the right-hand side. It's played back across. Sergio Gomez with a little pass into Foden on the edge of the area, tried to find Palmer, but that was intercepted by Basham. And now Palmer again. Palmer fresh onto the field. He's not had a huge amount of football this season. Now Palmer taking on Basham and going round the outside and trying to cross it, but the defender went to ground. Egan came across, he rounded Basham, but Egan went to ground and blocked it with his body, and it bounces out down the left-hand side. But well played, Palmer.
Brilliant from Palmer. I haven't seen that enough from him, really, in a Manchester City shirt. The belief and confidence in his own ability and his own pace. I saw him for England's under-21s a few weeks back, and he was outstanding in that game. And he showed this kind of endeavour all night long, just to get at defenders.
That's good from Sergio Gomez for Manchester City. He throws in a couple of tricks, and now Mahrez on the edge of the D turns and plays the ball back out to the right-hand side. Phillips is there, who goes back to the halfway line. Yeah, Palmer, remember, he had injury problems last season, started just 5 matches this season, but substitute appearances, this number 17, as the ball is played in from the right by Walker, but Alvarez, I think, was in 2 minds there whether to control or shoot, and in the end just sort of stunned it behind for a goal kick. 3-0 Manchester City lead.
Yeah, that's how it looked, didn't it? He couldn't quite make his mind up if it was in a position to get a shot away, or the angle was going to be difficult. Would have been better to taking the ball across his body, protecting it, maybe trying to have a swivel, but just didn't quite get it right.
So half-time, Preston 0, Blackburn 0. In the Championship, Wrexham Boreham Wood will be getting underway in a couple of minutes. We'll have more as well from the World Snooker during the course of the evening. Follow that on BBC television as the ball's played forward. So Sharp, who might be getting his shirt pulled by Calvin Phillips just outside the penalty area. Sharp still battling for it, and the ball bounces out of play. Laporte was there. Billy Sharp, not too impressed, waves his arms at the referee, but it is a goal kick. Billy Sharp, the number 10, playing his 676th match of his of his excellent career. Goal kick for Manchester City. The cricket, by the way, will be on Sports Extra again tomorrow, either the County Championship or the IPL. And on what's been the third day of the current round of championship matches, it is springtime, and every match you can hear commentary via the BBC Sport website and app. It's a great service from our colleagues in BBC Local Radio. The ball bouncing out of play over on the far side. It's a throw into Sheffield United just inside their own half. So Sheffield United will go again Wednesday against informed West Brom, and Middlesbrough and Luton playing on Monday in the Championship. So that promotion could be sealed over the course of those few days. Here's Basham on the right, though, as Sheffield United try to find a goal. Basham turns the ball away from Laporte and then goes down rather easily. Sheffield United fans are appealing very loudly for a penalty, but Stuart Atwell ignores it and them, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, had a wonderful position there, the referee. Kept up with play really well. Basham turned inside Laporte and tried to chop it past him again. Laporte had a little swipe, but I don't think there was any actual contact, or certainly nothing significant. Basham was always looking for it. Went to ground, as you said, easy. Got up quickly as well. And fair play to him. Referee quick to say no penalty.
4 minutes to go, plus added time. 3-0 Manchester City lead. Just the one goal scorer, Riyad Mahrez, with a penalty, and then 2 more in the second half to effectively seal Manchester City's place in the FA Cup final back here at Wembley. Here is Njai. Oh, poor, drags the ball back and passes it, overhits it through for a goal kick. He had the big chance for Sheffield United early in the match. The Senegal World Cup player had it in the edge of the 6-yard area and shot at the goalkeeper.
Yeah, how differently things could have been if Sheffield United would have gone 1-0 ahead in the opening 2 or 3 minutes. It was a huge chance, the biggest that Sheffield United have managed today. Fell to them very early in the game. It was actually, had to take his touch and hit it really quickly. Really smart save by Ortega. Fair play to him. It could have been so different.
Manchester City playing it out from the back successfully, although Kanji had to be quick there, and then he just managed to get the pass away as the challenge came in to Phillips. And Walker's now flying down the right-hand side, taking the ball on to the corner of the penalty area and into the box. Back to Lewis. Lewis with a heavy touch, and so it bounces away, and Sheffield United can bring it away centrally with Koulibaly. Although they've gone back to the edge of their own penalty area. Robinson back to goalkeeper Fodringham, who clears to the halfway line. So Robbie Savage and Chris Sutton are standing by to take your calls on 606 on 5 Live, on 08 085 909 693. If you're on your way home from the match, give them a call. Here's Alvarez up towards the edge of the penalty area, out to the left-hand side to Palmer. So Manchester City will play either Manchester United or Brighton in the FA Cup final. Never had an all-Manchester FA Cup final, or indeed in either of the domestic cup competitions, so that would be quite an event. But I get the feeling, having spoken to a number of people this week, that many are fancying Brighton's chances, particularly after Manchester United's trip to Seville on Thursday night.
Yeah, as you said, either of those games would be mouth-watering.
Walker's got the ball away from Koulibaly. Walker on the right, back to the corner of the penalty area. Mahrez still there. No surprises who will be named, I'm sure, as the Emirates man of the match, as he turns and gives it back to Phillips and then into the centre circle. And Njai herring around, but Ortega's able to pass it forward to Phillips, and then Akanji. The Sheffield United players, this is Sheffield United applause you can hear, because they're 3-0 down in this match, and yet Njai and McBurney and Billy Sharp are absolutely chasing everything. Gomez, as Manchester City still have possession. Give it to Kyle Walker on the right-hand side. And there has been an early goal in the Wrexham-Boreham Wood match. Sohail Sahi.
Very quiet around the racecourse ground, John, because Boreham Wood have scored. It's Wrexham 0, Boreham Wood 1, 52 seconds into the game. Leon Love with a lob over Ben Foster. Boreham Wood are spoiling the party. Wrexham 0, Boreham Wood 1.
Well, Wrexham have got to win that tonight if they're going to confirm their promotion this evening. More live sport on 5 Live tonight, by the way, after 6:06. because we have, as the ball's played over the top for Manchester City, but it bounces away from Mahrez and is steered away by Robinson and then passed away by Bogle, but that was charged down. But fortunately for Sheffield United, it fell to Norwood, who will give it out towards the left-hand side to Koulibaly. Yes, we'll have commentary on the golf, the Chevron Championship, on Sports Extra from 8:30. Ian Carter is in Texas, so he'll be joined by Kat Downs and Becky Brewerton, who are watching it from this end, as Foden brings the ball to the edge of the area. Left foot shot from Alvarez, but he pulled it wide by a yard, actually, from 14 yards out, as the match moves into added time, 3 minutes of added time.
Yeah, it's best chance that's felt to anybody in a Manchester City shirt, apart from Riyad Mahrez today. Good play, Foden, great turn inside the Sheffield United half, just takes the ball on his back foot, glides elegantly forward, just waits for that run of Alvarez into the space to the left of him. Lovely weighted pass, touch was very good initially from Alvarez, but just pulled his shot wide. But smart break by Manchester City. I think 4-0 would have been a bit harsh on Sheffield United had that gone in. An opportunity missed.
Yeah, I think 3-0, you're right, Leon. I think 3-0's about right. And here is the announcement of man of the match. I wonder who it's going to be. It's Riyad Mahrez.
No surprises there, was there?
Here's Walker on the right-hand side. Listen, when you're the first man to score a hat-trick in an FA Cup semi-final since 1958, and you're probably going to get all of the praise. Here's Lewis into the penalty area for Manchester City, but the challenge comes in. So it's deflected out of play for a throw-in to Manchester City on the right-hand side. The other live sport tonight, by the way, is the boxing, live from Cardiff. Joe Cordina's world title fight. That is on Sports Extra tonight. It's a corner for Manchester City, which is taken short. Foden giving it back to the corner of the box. Mahrez pulls that across square. Little ball into the edge of the area. Palmer now, from an angle, shoots right across goal, and Foderingham might have got a touch on that. No, referee Atwell says goal kick. And it just evaded as well, sliding in Foden at the back post.
Yeah, it was just too close to the goalkeeper that Foden couldn't quite stretch in there. Really good by Cole Palmer. He dropped his shoulder, created that opportunity brilliantly, just scuffed the shot slightly, which pulled it past that far post just enough that Foderingham didn't have to make the save, but not enough that Foden could get on the end of it. Agonising for the Manchester City winger.
Palmer's been bright since he's come on the left-hand side, and I've seen him play on the right, I've seen him play centrally, and he's done well in the Grealish position that it has now become, as Foden is bundled over. He's taken a bang on the arm in the process as well, but it's a free kick 10 yards inside the Manchester City half. So FA Cup final to come. Premier League, if they win their two matches in hand, they will go to the top of the table. Real Madrid in the semi-final. Are we making Manchester City the favourites for that?
Well, I think we look and think Manchester City can certainly win that tie. Quality team, maybe the best left in the competition, but you just can't put anything past Real Madrid. They've just got such a knowledge of winning that Champions League, but as I said, they position themselves wonderfully for the run-in, and they're in great form at the moment, so wouldn't put it past them.
And there it is, as Pep Guardiola walks across and shakes hands with Paul Heckingbottom and pats him on the back, and the two of them share a word. Sheffield United had their hopes, their dreams of reaching an FA Cup final for the first time since 1936 when they came here. They knew that the odds were stacked against them, and it was not until very late in the first half that they conceded the opening goal, when the teenager Jebison fouled Bernardo Silva inside the penalty area. It was not Mahrez who took the penalty, it was not Haaland who took the penalty, it was Mahrez who scored it, put it away terrifically well, and backed up that decision, and then went on to score a hat-trick that won his team the match. Leon Osman.
Yeah, Riyad Mahrez was the difference. A very energetic, stubborn, defensively solid performance for 40 minutes from Sheffield United. They certainly stayed in the game. They had an opportunity that if they'd have scored very early in the game, that it could have been a little bit different, but Manchester City just keep on going. They keep showing the quality, they keep trying to create chances, and it was that man, as you said, Riyad Mahrez, that was the difference today. They possess such quality within the squad, too much for Championship Sheffield United, but they should be really pleased and really proud of themselves today, getting to a semi-final of the FA Cup from the Championship. But this isn't their priority. They've been able to enjoy themselves. The fans will be very pleased with their afternoon at Wembley. It's back to trying to secure promotion to the Premier League, and they'll look back as this as a wonderful season if they do. Manchester City, well, they've made another step towards that treble. It's on. They're marching along really well. They're full of confidence. They're really winning games at a canter at times, and bring on the big ones to come.
Yeah, Leon Osman, thank you very much for your company here at Wembley this afternoon. The Sheffield United players going off to their thousands and thousands of supporters to thank them for coming here to Wembley Stadium. They can now head off and perhaps win promotion to the Premier League in the next few days. For Manchester City, they will move on towards that possible treble. They're into the FA Cup final. They'll play either Manchester United or Brighton. You'll hear that on 5 Live tomorrow. But the match has ended here. Manchester City 3, Sheffield United 0, and this has been Riyad Mahrez's FA Cup semi-final.
And he is gripping that match ball tightly, Leon Osman. I wouldn't want to be the one who tries to take it away from him. I mean, it says everything you need to know about Manchester City, doesn't it? That a player who's played or started exactly half of their Premier League games this season can come into the team and do that. That's the depth.
Yeah, it is. It's, you know, the depth that they have is real quality, and you have to give credit to Pep Guardiola. He gives everybody enough game time that when they come into the team, when they are asked to perform at the level the rest of the squad is, they're ready, they're able. They've not sat on the substitutes bench being unused for 6 weeks, and suddenly you're expected to be up to the same quality as the rest. He uses them very well, and Riyad Mahrez is, you know, got real quality. He's got a real eye for goals. Not many players would take a penalty kick responsibilities off Erling Haaland, the form he's in, but fancies himself. He wants to be on the score sheet. He wants to affect and win games for the team, and he's done that here today.
Pep's on a bit of a lap of honour at the minute, waving to the fans. He should have stuck the boot in a little bit before the game, John, didn't he? And, you know, he got the reaction he wanted, I imagine, having said this is the time of the season. These FA Cup semi-finals are usually when we play our worst.
Yeah, that's exactly how I read it as well. You know, knowing that they'd lost in the last 3, he didn't want to make it 4 in a row. No team's ever lost in 4 successive FA Cup semi-finals, so the message was very clear there. I thought it was in his team selection as well tonight. You know, there were certainly 1 or 2 I wasn't necessarily expecting to start this match who did, but it was actually one of those you would have been nailed on to believe would start the match. Riyad Mahrez, who actually made the difference with all of the goals.
I think you might have been thinking on a similar lines to me in the final minutes of commentary there, which is, you know, you think about this possible treble. There is certainly an argument that in all 3 individual competitions, Manchester City are now favourites.
Yeah, and you know, to me, that's the Erling Haaland effect. You know, that he hasn't scored today, but that sheer weight of goals. You know, that is why we are saying that. If it was Manchester City against Real Madrid and there was no Haaland, you know, which way would you choose that? With Haaland, they just have that extra va-va-voom, as Thierry Henry used to call it.
And look, there's, you know, this is nothing on Sheffield United, Leon, is it? I mean, there's a limit to what you can do against that team.
Yeah, I mean, we're talking about a team that's into the final stages of, you know, the Champions League. The whole of Europe is wowed by what Manchester City are currently doing and how they're playing. Not many teams are able to keep up. Certainly only a few in the Premier League, and only 1 or 2 we're talking may be able to stop them in the pinnacle of European football as well. So it was always going to be a big task. You had to hope that Manchester City had one of their off days that they have done at this stage in the past. They had to hope that Sheffield United had a wonderful game, that everything went right. They needed to take that opportunity at the start of the game that fell to Ndiaye, that was well saved by Ortega, but everything has to go right if you're Sheffield United and you want to come out of this game with a victory. It didn't. Manchester City did what Manchester City did, but you know, them Sheffield United fans won't go home too disappointed. They've had a wonderful season. They'll have enjoyed their afternoon at Wembley. They'll be thankful to the players for the season that they've given them. They'll want them to get over the line. That's the priority now. Secure that promotion back to the Premier League. But you know, Manchester City, just too much for them today.
And also, John, for 99% of clubs in this country, getting to Wembley happens very, very rarely. Yeah, I was at the racecourse ground in the third round. Sheffield United were about 30 seconds from going out, so they've had a great adventure.
Yeah, and it was a close to run thing as well against Blackburn in the quarter-final. It's a great little FA Cup run that they've had. Some terrific matches, some great memories, and if it does end in the next few days, this season of theirs with promotion to the Premier League, that's a very good season to look back on. And Paul Heckingbottom as well. I feel that his reputation, we've talked, haven't we, about a number of young British managers who are coming up in the game. Well, the job that he's done at Sheffield United, and Leon, you and I were talking about how he's not had a great deal of money to spend. He's had to work with what he's got, and he's done what he's done, which is quite an achievement.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, only that one signing, Ahmed Hodzic came in this season. Other than that, he's been building up the squad. He's been working with them on the field. It was not easy when he took the reins a couple of seasons back, and the longevity isn't within football management at the moment. The turnover within jobs at the top level is incredible, yet he's maintained his job. He went through a difficult period. He's built the team up. They look stronger season on season, and he's got them to a wonderful position now, not only, as I said, riding high near the top of the Championship, but having the belief to have a really good FA Cup run, which everybody enjoys. FA Cup runs. The fans, you want to be good in the league, but everybody enjoys a good FA Cup run. And Sheffield United have had a wonderful one this year. Just couldn't make it that extra step to the cup final, but they'll be pleased when they look back on it.
So Leon, John and I are going to react on the big stories between now and 7 o'clock.